Olivia Newton-John spent 30 years fighting cancer in public. But what happened behind closed doors in her final weeks? Her husband John stayed silent for months after she passed. Then he started talking. He described strange blue lights appearing in photographs. He mentioned treatment choices that doctors questioned. He revealed her last words to daughter Chloe, and he explained why she stopped taking the medications everyone expected her to use. At 73, America's sweetheart made decisions that nobody saw coming. What John finally shared changes everything we thought we knew about her final days. Olivia Newton-John was born on September 26, 1948, in Cambridge, England, and from the very beginning her life carried stories that sounded larger than life. Her father, Brinley Newton-John, was a quiet man on the surface, a professor and nuclear physicist. Yet during World War II, he had worked in secret at Bletchley Park, helping crack Nazi Enigma codes. His work helped Allied forces track enemy plans, and he even played a role in questioning Rudolf Hess after Hitler's deputy parachuted into Scotland during a strange peace mission. At home, he rarely spoke about it, but the past followed him like a shadow. Her mother Irene came from a family shaped by survival. Irene's father was Max Born, the Jewish physicist whose ideas helped build quantum mechanics and later earned him a Nobel Prize. When the Nazis rose to power, the family fled Germany before it was too late, carrying knowledge and research that could not be left behind. Olivia grew up surrounded by people who had escaped war and changed science, yet none of it looked dramatic from the outside. When she was 5, her family left England and moved across the world to Melbourne. Her father had taken a teaching position at the University of Melbourne, and the grey skies of Cambridge were replaced by bright Australian sunlight. Life settled into a calm rhythm, but Olivia found herself drawn to music early. At 15, she stepped onto a television stage for a show called Sing, 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 facing more than 200 other contestants. She sang Till You Say, You'll Be Mine with a voice that surprised even the judges. She won the whole contest. The prize was a trip to Britain, but the bigger change was inside her. For the first time, she saw a path opening in front of her. Not long after, school started to feel smaller than her dreams. At 16, she left her classes behind and joined a small group called Sol 4 with her friend Pat Carroll and guitarist Bruce Welch. They rehearsed in coffee shops and played wherever they could, building a name on television programs and small stages around Melbourne. Olivia's gentle image earned her the nickname Lovely Livy, though the life behind the scenes felt far from gentle. In 1965, she finally traveled to Britain using the prize she had won on television, and Pat Carroll came along after her family decided to move there as well. Olivia soon signed a contract with Decca Records and released her first single, but the song went nowhere and critics dismissed it quickly. Pat returned home to Australia, and Olivia was left alone in London, trying to survive on club performances and small appearances. She often slept on floors and worried about rent, while her father urged her to come back home. In 1971, she released the album If Not For You, and the title song carried her onto the charts in both Britain and America. The gentle sound of her voice drew listeners in, and tours with Cliff Richard introduced her to audiences who had never heard her name before. Within a few years, she stood at the center of an unexpected storm when she began winning country music awards in the United States. Traditional artists felt that she did not belong in their world, and when she won Female Vocalist of the Year at the Country Music Association Awards, many musicians protested openly. The tension only made her success more visible. Her song Let Me Be There earned a Grammy and crossed from pop charts into country charts at the same time. Hate letters arrived and some stations refused to play her music, but millions of records continued to sell. I Honestly Love You brought 2 more Grammys and became her first major pop #1. Everything changed when the role of Sandy in Grease came into her life. At first, she hesitated, worried that she was too old to play a high school student and unsure if she could carry a major film. She agreed only after a screen test with John Travolta convinced her that the chemistry worked. The final transformation scene became unforgettable, with tight black clothes and a new attitude that shocked audiences who knew her only as a gentle singer. Grease became one of the biggest musicals ever made and turned her into a worldwide star. After that triumph, she stepped into Xanadu, a colorful fantasy filled with music and roller skating that critics dismissed almost immediately. The movie struggled at the box office, yet the soundtrack became a huge success. When her career seemed uncertain again, she chose a different direction and released Physical, a song that dominated the charts and introduced a bold new image. The video sparked a fitness craze and even faced bans in some places, but the public embraced it, and the song stayed at #1 for weeks. As the years moved forward, she found stability again through live performances, especially in Las Vegas, where audiences came to hear the songs that had followed them through decades. New recordings and collaborations kept her voice present on radio, and her concerts became gatherings filled with memory and warmth. Olivia Newton-John's love story with Matt Lattanzi began quietly on the set of Xanadu in 1980. She was 32 and already a famous star, while Matt was 21 and working as her dance double. Day after day, they practiced the same steps and spent long hours together, and before long, the connection between them grew into something deeper. What started as simple closeness turned into a romance they kept secret for 4 years. On December 15, 1984, they slipped away to the Florida Keys and married on a quiet beach at sunset. There were no guests and no photographers waiting in the distance. When fans later learned about the marriage, many were surprised by the age gap. Matt was 11 years younger and still trying to build his own future in Hollywood. They moved to Australia and built a peaceful home far from the noise of fame. Their daughter Chloe Rose Lattanzi was born on January 17, 1986, in Melbourne, and Olivia poured herself into motherhood with all the love she had. After years of performing and traveling, she wanted Chloe to grow up somewhere calm and safe. Then everything shifted in late 1991 when Olivia's young goddaughter died from a rare kidney cancer. The loss broke her heart, and not long after she discovered a lump in her own breast. In 1992, doctors confirmed she had cancer at the age of 44. At first, she kept the news from 6-year-old Chloe because she did not want her daughter to live with fear. Treatment began quickly with surgery and harsh chemotherapy that left her exhausted and sick. Chloe eventually learned the truth from another child at school, and the shock hurt more because it had not come from her mother. By April 1995, Olivia and Matt decided to end their marriage after 11 years together. They said the separation was peaceful and agreed to share custody of Chloe. Not long after the divorce, rumors began to spread about Matt growing close to their young babysitter Cindy Jessup. Matt later married Cindy in Malibu in 1999, and Olivia surprised many people by wishing them well in public. The love story that began on a movie set had ended, yet it strengthened her resolve to keep moving forward. Not long after the divorce, Olivia met Patrick McDermott, and by 1996, they had begun a relationship that lasted on and off for nearly 9 years. Patrick brought warmth back into her life, and for a time she felt steady again. Then on June 27, 2005, he went on a late-night fishing trip off the coast of Malibu and never returned. The boat carried 22 passengers and Patrick signed in before departure, yet when it came back, he was gone. No one saw him fall and no body was ever found. The Coast Guard searched a wide area of ocean for days before ending the effort. Olivia was devastated and hired private investigators while trying to understand what might have happened. Patrick had financial problems and owed large amounts in child support, and soon people began to wonder whether he had drowned or disappeared on purpose. In 2008, Patrick was officially presumed lost at sea, but the uncertainty never truly faded. Then in 2006, new rumors began to spread that Patrick might still be alive. Some investigators claimed he had escaped to Mexico under a different name and was living quietly near the ocean. Photos appeared of a man who looked similar to him. Olivia did not speak publicly about the claims, yet the pain found its way into her music. Years later, she admitted that part of her would always wonder what really happened. Back in Olivia's life, 1992 marked the beginning of the battle that would shape the rest of her years. Soon after losing her goddaughter and her father, she found the lump that led to her breast cancer diagnosis at 44. The grief of those losses hit her all at once and left her feeling overwhelmed. Doctors moved quickly with surgery to remove the tumor, followed by chemotherapy that drained her strength. Through the pain, she searched for ways to heal, not only her body but also her spirit, turning to meditation, natural therapies, and focused thoughts of recovery. After many difficult months, she entered remission around 1994, and the experience changed her in ways she could never undo. Music became a place where she could speak honestly about what she had lived through. Then, in 1998, she turned that same determination toward helping others by supporting cancer research and treatment in Melbourne. Her efforts helped create a place where patients and researchers worked side by side, and the work became a lasting part of her legacy. Years later, cancer returned quietly in 2013 with a tumor in her shoulder that she kept private while undergoing treatment. In 2017, severe pain in her lower back forced her to cancel a tour, and tests revealed the disease had spread to her bones. The news meant the illness could not be cured, yet she refused to give up. Radiation treatment eased the pain enough for her to walk and live normally again, and she continued sharing hopeful messages with fans even during the hardest days. In 2018, doctors warned that the cancer had returned once more and suggested aggressive chemotherapy. Olivia chose a different path and focused on natural therapies along with medical treatment, using cannabis oil for pain relief while continuing radiation. The decision drew attention and debate, yet she lived far longer than doctors expected and stayed active into her 70s. Cancer kept circling back into Olivia Newton-John's life, and it never came alone. It touched her sister. It tested her daughter. It followed her into her final days. Yet every time it showed up, something else grew stronger inside the family. In early 2013, while Olivia was facing another return of her own cancer, her older sister Rona was told she had a brain tumor. The news came fast. The decline came faster. Olivia stopped her Las Vegas shows and flew straight to Los Angeles to be with her. Rona fought with everything she had, but within months the tumor spread. On May 24, 2013, she passed away peacefully, surrounded by her 4 children. Olivia shared a message calling her beautiful, smart, funny, brave. The grief was heavy, but instead of folding into it, she built something from it. At her Cancer Wellness Center in Melbourne, she launched a brain tumor wellness program in Rona's name. At the same time, another storm was building at home. Her daughter Chloe Latanzi was struggling in ways the public did not fully see at first. Growing up as the child of the Grease star meant living under a bright light. By her 20s, Chloe was battling addiction, anorexia, anxiety, and deep depression. She later shared that she was spending huge amounts on drugs each day and mixing them with alcohol and medication. In 2012, everything collapsed. She entered rehab for 7 months. Later, she also revealed she is autistic, explaining that social overload and fame made her feel even more isolated. Through all of it, Olivia stayed by her side. Recovery was not a straight road, but slowly, Chloe began to understand herself better. Then in August 2022, the center of that family shifted forever. Olivia passed away at her ranch in Santa Ynez, California, after nearly 3 decades of living with breast cancer. She was 73. Her husband, John Easterling, later shared something that surprised many people. He said she was clear, conscious, and free from pain in her final days. No heavy haze, no confusion. She stayed present. She spoke with love. Chloe revealed that her last clear words to her were, "My sunshine." Even near the end, Olivia kept her humor. She stayed aware. She stayed herself. John explained that she had chosen a path that focused on quality of life. After earlier treatments, she began using medical cannabis to manage pain from cancer that had spread to her spine and sacrum. Over time, she was able to step away from strong opioids. She said the plant helped her think clearly and feel grateful each day. For her, it was not just about relief. It was about staying connected. She continued to talk, to laugh, to plan. She believed natural therapies could sit beside medical treatment, not replace it but support it. Before she died, she spoke often about expanding her wellness center in Australia so that everyday people could access free mind-body therapies alongside standard cancer care, yoga, counseling, nutrition, plant-based support. She felt privileged that she had options and wanted others to have them too. After her passing, that mission did not fade. It grew. In 2023, grief took on a different shape inside the house she once filled with music. John and Chloe began sharing stories of strange blue orbs appearing in photos. The first one showed up near Chloe's dog just weeks after Olivia's death. The color matched an aquamarine necklace John had given Olivia years before, and that Chloe now wore. Later, John saw a similar blue light in a photo taken in Peru at the mountain, where he and Olivia had married in 2008. They both said they felt her presence daily. Lights flickered. Doors shifted. They remembered how Olivia once joked that she would come back as a glowing orb. To some people, It sounded like grief playing tricks. To them, it felt like comfort. 1 year later, they marked the anniversary not just with tears, but with action. Fundraisers continued. The Olivia Newton-John Cancer Wellness Center kept growing. In 2024, the ONJ Walk for Wellness in Melbourne brought family together again. Chloe walked alongside John and other relatives, honoring the woman who had turned her own diagnosis in 1992 into a lifelong mission. Over the years, her efforts raised more than $200 million for research and integrated care. She had auctioned costumes, hosted concerts, even walked along the Great Wall of China with survivors. Her influence reached far beyond hospitals. Artists who grew up listening to her carried pieces of her into their own music. The soundtrack of Grease sold more than 30 million copies, and songs like Hopelessly Devoted to You shaped a generation of singers who followed. Her voice stayed alive on streaming charts and tribute stages. Through all of it, one message kept repeating in the words of the people who loved her most: choose joy. John often says their love transcends understanding. He talks to her when he walks the dogs. He says he lives for both of them now. Chloe says she feels her mother every single day. The grief is real, the absence is real, but so is the connection. Cancer entered their lives again and again. It took a sister. It tested a daughter. It finally took Olivia's body. Yet what remains is not just loss. It is a center treating thousands. It is families walking for wellness. It is a daughter who found strength. It is a husband who still speaks to his soulmate under quiet skies.